What up, schmucks? It's Ace Trainer Liam, and welcome to another episode of Form Fight. For those who aren't aware, Form Fight is a series where we take a look at a Pokemon with more than one form, or a branched evolution, or a counterpart Pokemon. We have a look at the differences between those Pokemon in question and try and work out which one is the best. And so we can see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. We also have a Metronome battle between those Pokemon just for a little bit of fun. If you're already a fan of the Form Fight series and you're ready for more, make sure you hit the like button to show your appreciation for the series, and of course, if you're new, hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. With all that out of the way, let's look at today's challenges. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at a Pokemon that you guys have been asking me to cover for a long time and I've really been putting off. And it's the 4 forms of Sawsbuck, which are Spring, Summer, Autumn, and Winter. In Generation 5, the form that Sawsbuck would appear in would be dependent on the current month. So for example, in January, May, or September, Sawsbuck would be in Spring form. In February, June, or October, Sawsbuck would be in Summer form. In March, July, or November, Sawsbuck would be in Autumn form, and in April, August, or December, Sawsbuck would be in its Winter form. However, in Generation 6 onwards, Sawsbuck can only be found in its Spring form, and the other forms have to be transferred from Generation 5. But what makes these 4 forms of Sawsbuck so different? Let's take a look. All 4 forms of Sawsbuck stand at 1.9 meters tall and weigh 92.5 kilograms. They unsurprisingly share a Pokédex entry which reads, they migrate according to seasons. So some people call Sawsbuck the harbingers of spring. People can tell the season by looking at a Sawsbuck's horns. Appearance-wise, all 4 forms resemble very generic-looking deer, with the spring form having small flowers blossoming on its antlers, summer form having leafy hedges growing from its antlers, autumn form having wilting fall leaves, and winter form having white antlers with fluffy fur on its legs and chest. And this is where the differences in these Pokemon forms end. In their shiny forms, Sawsbuck's dark brown fur changes from dark brown to a much lighter brown. Wowee! Now let's look at their typing, weaknesses, and resistances. All 4 forms of Sawsbuck are dual type, normal and grass type Pokemon, which makes them all weak to fighting, flying, poison, bug, fire, and ice. They all resist ground, water, grass, and electric type moves, and they're all completely immune to ghost type attacks. Now let's look at the stats and abilities of these Pokemon forms. Shockingly, all forms of Sawsbuck have the same base stats, with decent speed and attack, pretty average HP, and below average defense, special defense, and special attack. They're basically slightly better versions of Stantler with more weaknesses. All 4 forms of Sawsbuck have the same abilities, with their primary ability being Chlorophyll, which doubles Sawsbuck's speed when harsh sunlight is in effect. Now, of course, this ability is very dependent on either being in a double battle with a partner Pokemon that has the Drought ability, or Sawsbuck using Sunny Day to bring the sun itself. But if you can increase Sawsbuck's speed, then it's certainly an advantage because then it gets a chance to actually use its attack stat, whereas the defenses it has doesn't really give it much staying power. Their secondary ability is Sap Sipper, which increases Sawsbuck's attack 1 stage when hit by a grass type move. This is one of those moves that, yes, increasing Sawsbuck's attack is a great idea, but at the same time, in practice, the chances of Sawsbuck being actually hit by a grass type move are so statistically unlikely, I wouldn't say it's worth building a strategy around Sap Sipper Sawsbuck. Say that 3 times fast. Their hidden ability is Serene Grace, which doubles the chance of a move with a secondary effect actually causing its secondary effect. So any flinching moves like Stomp, or any moves that cause confusion or paralysis or anything like that, those moves will have a much better chance of causing those secondary effects, and that is a lot more effective than anything else that Sawsbuck brings to the table. So I would always say Serene Grace is the way to go with your Sawsbuck. Although saying that, again, maybe Chlorophyll is better because without the speed increase, Sawsbuck really isn't going to last long enough to land many hits. Now it's time for me to decide which of these 4 forms of Sawsbuck I prefer, and honestly, I don't f***ing care. There's no difference in the Pokemon. It is purely aesthetic. So it's literally, I mean, which one looks cooler? And they all look the same. They're just deer. Like, they're not interesting Pokemon to look at because they are just deer. They're just a bunch of deer with different flowers on them. It doesn't interest me at all. So I'm going to go spring form because just, I don't know, maybe the winter form, because the winter form kind of looks like it's got armor because of the fur, but just it doesn't matter. They're all the same Pokemon. But of course, it's not just up to this pompous idiot to decide. It's up to you guys to decide which of these forms of Sawsbuck is your favorite, since you've been asking for this episode for so long. But before you make your decision, before you decide, it's time to see these Pokemon in action on the battlefield. It's time for the Metronome battle. Before we get started, I will point out all these Sawsbuck have max IVs in all stats, 0 EVs in all stats. They're not holding any items. Normally in Form Fight, they have the hidden abilities, but I made a mistake when breeding, so they all have chlorophyll. That's fine. They've all got the primary abilities. They've all got the same abilities. They've all got the same typing. They've all got the same base stats. And because, of course, I wanted this battle to be more of a last mon standing kind of free-for-all rather than the battle royale that's included with the game, there are technically 2 teams of Sawsbuck, but the positions on the field that I've chosen for them have been chosen by a random number generator. So don't worry. Literally, the only advantage or disadvantage anybody gets comes from the Metronome. Let's just do this. Here we go. This has been asked for a very, very long time. Spring versus summer versus autumn versus winter Sawsbuck. I hope you are as excited as I am. The positions on the battlefield have been chosen by random number generator. We get Summer Form starting things off, going for Rain Dance. That's going to weaken Fire-type moves, great play, but increase the power of Water-type moves, which are not very effective against any of these Sawsbuck. So let's see who can come out victorious in this one. Spring Form is moving next. Remember, all these Pokemon have the exact same stats, so it's a speed tie. Stored Power coming out. Not going to be that powerful because no power has been stored, but a little bit of chip damage on Summer right there, as we see Autumn getting ready to make its first move of the battle. Going for Pollen Puff. That is a bug-type move. That is going to do a great amount of damage there. Almost half of Spring Form's full HP. That's impressive. What's next? We see Purify coming out from the Winter Form, but it does fail. Who's next up? Autumn is going to start off the next round. What does it have after that beautiful Pollen Puff? It's going to go for Fiery Dance. That is super effective, but unfortunately, it's not going to be that effective in the rain, only doing a little bit of damage, but really targeting Spring Form right now. Autumn and Spring are not friends at this moment in time, but you do get the special attack increase off the Fiery Dance there as Summer fires off a high horsepower that will be resisted. Everybody's attacking Spring Form right now. That's crazy. Poor Spring Form. What is it going to do in response? Has it got anything up its sleeve? Going for Glare. It's going to paralyze the Autumn Form. So Autumn Form may be unable to move at certain turns depending on the paralysis. So Spring Form's like, hey, I don't want you attacking me no more, so just get paralyzed for a bit. We see a takedown coming out from the Winter Form that will do a little bit of damage there. Great amount of damage actually to the Autumn Form, and a little bit of recoil damage there. That was a massive hit. Testament to that physical attack stat of Sawsbuck. As we see the Summer Form going for Sing, but it is going to be avoided. Unfortunately, the accuracy on Sing is not as good as things like Grass Whistle. Here we see Rollout coming out from Spring Form. That's going to get progressively stronger and stronger as it goes through, targeting down its enemy, that Autumn Form, as Winter Form comes through with a Leech Seed. Of course, it's not going to take effect because it doesn't affect Grass-type Pokemon. Autumn is paralyzed and cannot move, so has been scuppered by Spring Form Sawsbuck. Winter will be starting off the next round. What's it got in store? It's going to go for Perish Song, so in the next couple of rounds, we will find out if all Pokemon are going to perish, and whoever's left standing will be the winner. So I wonder who that'll be, because these are all tied. Here we see Summer Form going for Giga Impact. That's going to, oh my god, that's going to knock out Spring Form. Spring Form is eliminated, but do note that Summer Form is going to have to recharge next turn, leaving itself vulnerable. Autumn Form shakes off the paralysis. What's it going to go for here? It's going to go for Drain Punch. That will be super effective on the normal types Winter Form Sawsbuck, and that is amazing damage, and it's going to get a nice HP restore from the Drain Punch there. That was amazing. All these Pokemon, of course, are weak to fighting type moves because they're all normal form, normal types, I should say, as well as grass types. And of course, the Perish Song is going to take effect in a couple of turns. We see that Summer needs to recharge there. Here comes Winter Form with a Mega Horn. That's going to be another super effective hit. Really going for it. Huge damage. Doesn't quite take down Summer Form though. And Autumn Form is unable to move because it's paralyzed, buying Winter even more time there. The Perish count's falling to 2, but what a great turn. Winter almost taking down Summer Form there. What's going to happen next? Summer is going for the Metronome. What's it got in store here? It's going to go for Spit Up, but that's going to fail because, of course, it's not stockpiled anything. Winter is getting ready. What's it going to do? What's it going to go for? Going to go for Horn Drill, but it's not effective. It is avoided. So, Sawsbuck lives to survive another day. no one-hit KOs today, as we see the paralysis on the Autumn form, and of course the Perish Song count falling to 1. What's Summer got in store here? What's it going for? It's going to go for Takedown, but it's at such low HP, the recoil surely. Winter goes down, and then Summer goes down as well. So Autumn is the winner, and it's been paralyzed for the last 2 turns. It didn't even have to move, and it won this Metronome battle. That was unbelievable. Well done to the Autumn form. You somehow pulled it off without even moving. Well done. So you've heard what I've got to say, you've seen these Pokemon on the battlefield, now it's time for you to make your decision. Which of these forms of Sawsbuck is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below, and this time you don't need to explain why your pick's the absolute best, because they're all the same. And it's just personal preference on which one you think looks the nicest. But why don't you tell everybody in the comments why you think the one that you've picked looks the nicest? You don't really need to argue with anyone in this one, it's really weird. Like, if I see anyone arguing in the comments about which is the best form of Sawsbuck, you're dumb, mate. You real dumb arguing about this. But of course, that's where I'm going to leave this episode of Form Fight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope some of you weren't too offended by the fact that I was being a little bit sarcastic throughout this video. Hit like if you did enjoy, and of course hit subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video. And if you'd like to support the channel like these lovely people down here do, pledge to my Patreon. It's down in the description. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.